Look at this, dandelions are blooming and I'm pumped and excited. Hello everybody, David Burns, good to be with you today. We're gonna open up a hive right now because spring is here and there's a possibility that we're gonna start seeing a lot of swarm cells right now. I'm gonna show you guys today how to inspect your hive to know if they're getting ready to swarm and what to do about it. And boy, is it windy. Look at this, it's 32 mile an hour constant wind. That is the wind speed, people. 32 miles an hour with gusts at 36. And so I am getting blown around. Unfortunately, my bees are struggling, but we're gonna jump into this hive right back here. We looked into this hive 40 days ago on February the 18th. They had little to no brood, just a little bit of eggs and larvae. So we're hoping to see more because I started feeding them 40 days ago. Let's take a look. All right, this is the hive we're gonna look at today. And I just put feeders on there this morning. I'm still feeding my bees because here in Illinois, just getting the start of those dandelions, so bees haven't had a lot to go foraging on. So I've been feeding this hive now for 40 days, and that's exciting. All right, this hive, I don't think I put new feeders on this morning because they still had about this much left of this pint here. All right, so let's go ahead and get in there and see what we got. Because as you can see, the bees are just under the screen here. I created this board many, many years ago, and you guys are buying these up. Great to feed your bees in the spring, and you just put an inverted jar of sugar like this, syrup on here, and it feeds through the screen. And back here, you can push a pollen patty through there if you want to. So that's kind of a neat feeder board. I'll take the opportunity to smoke in the holes a little bit there so we can get my feeder board off and start inspecting this hive. Yeah, when we inspected it last time, which was 40 days ago, we did find the queen. Today is March the 30th, almost the last day of March, not quite. And so we're excited to see these warmer temperatures. Right now it's 73 degrees Fahrenheit. Oh, let's look at the bees underneath here. I always like to show you guys that. Bees are hanging out, wanting to eat on stuff. And I'll put my gloves on if bees get a little cantankerous. Oh, there's a lot of bees in there, isn't it? Wow. All right, let's take a look here at some bees and see if we can see. I want to know, are they getting close to swarming? Now, this hive, I did not go through the winter with a honey super on like I do most of my hives. Okay, a lot of good protein. Do you see all the yellow pollen there? Well, that's good protein. It could be protein that I gave them in my open feeding. It kind of looks like that color, and that's just beautiful to watch them working that pollen. Over here on this side, capped over honey from probably the year before. Let's leave this frame out of the hive. All right, let's keep smoking. Boy, that smoker's working good. All right, let's see what we got on this next frame. Usually, if you're new to beekeeping, you probably don't know this or haven't learned yet, but usually the brood will be more in the center. So we'll have more honey frames. And what I'm doing here is loosening up several frames at one time. And that way I can be ahead of the game where I can inspect a little bit quicker. But yeah, there's a lot of bees at home. A lot of bees are looking at me. That means that they wish they could be doing other things, but the wind has got them confined indoors today. Bees really can't fly. I mean, at 32 mile an hour. Oh my gosh, wow. Oh, wow. That is amazing. So if you look at this, this is solid capped over pupae brood, and it looks beautiful. This is the result of me feeding them 40 days ago. That's how important it is to feed your bees when maybe you're still in winter. I can't remember when I started them, but it seemed like it was. I took the winter bee kind off, and I put the feeder on February the 18th, and now it's March the 30th. So you can see what that's done. Now, had I not fed them, more than likely I would not have had this brood because we don't have any nectar. during that time period, the last 40 days, we didn't have that much nectar. And they need a lot of protein, which I was open feeding them as well. I was putting it in their sugar water. I fed them my additives. Oh, that's good to see. Oh, that means we got to look for swarm cells. That's the whole purpose of this video. So, got to quit looking at the brood now. We got good brood, but we got to look at the bottom of the frames to see if we have any starts of swarm cells. No swarm cells anywhere on this frame. Good brood again, lots of brood. Yep, brood is emerging. We've got drone brood at the top there. Look at that. No queen cells on the bottom of that frame. Good. See how I'm slowly putting these frames back in. And what I like to do is keep these two frames tight together, because I'm going to move them as a lump sum to speed up my inspections later when I get ready to close up. All right, let's look at this one. I'm really excited about this spring being a great spring. Again, good brood, looking for swarm cells. Now don't be fooled, if you're new to beekeeping, by these cells at the bottom here that are pokey outy. These are capped over drone pupae that are capped over. These are not swarm cells. But you can see more brood. And there are bees with pollen on their back legs walking around. So they are finding some pollen now, probably finding bigger patches than dandelions than I showed you. But I wish I could get all the bees off of this and show you just a solid brood pattern. This is just a frame of 2,000 to 3,000 bees about to emerge in the next few days. If I move them around, you can see that's just capped over pupae. Feeding your bees like I did 40 days ago resulted in this. No swarm cells on the bottom. So I'll show you what I'm looking for. And let's smoke them again. Alrighty. So what I'm looking for is, I'm scanning. I'm looking at the bottom. Now I'll look at the whole frame with my eyes, across like this for swarm cells. But then I'm looking down here on the bottom. This is where the swarm cells will start to be drawn out. No swarm cells on either side. That's good. And you can see where the brood has emerged, and all those cells have eggs or larvae in them. They're coming right behind there and starting to put more and more eggs and raising brood, which is great to see. Yep, don't be afraid to use your smoker, especially if you're like me and you don't want to wear a jacket or gloves. You want to work barehanded in a t-shirt, a dark t-shirt I might add. My t-shirt says Hives for Heroes. I really am proud of that organization. All right, let's see, this is very light in weight, so it would be brood as well. All right, very good. Yep. Okay, I got good pearly white larvae in the center there. That tells me I don't have European foul brood. Looks good. Swing to the other side. Look around. All right, let's look for swarm cells on the bottom. Nothing. It's a little windy, even in this bermed area. You see, I had a little trouble landing that frame because the wind was blowing it around. All right. Good brood though, that's exciting. Yeah, if you saw the video that I made back in February on this hive, I inspected it on a warm day. I had to combine two hives. I had a weak hive, and I think I combined the weak hive with this hive because I could still see the newspaper in that video. I combined them in the fall. All right. All right, we're down back to the honey. So as I told you at the start of this video, what we have here is more brood in the center, and then we have the resources, bulk resources on the outside edges. And so we'll push all the frames together like that. So now I have a gap in the middle because I took a frame out And so what we're going to do is move all of these as one lump sum, because I like to do that. Because in these gaps, right between the frames, you can possibly kill bees when you move one at a time if you're moving a lot. So in this case, I can just move all of these at one time. Ready? And then when I get closer to the other ones, I'll slow down so that I won't smash any bees that are standing in the gap. It saves a lot of time. No bees are in the gap on this side or that side. So just that fast, I was able to not disrupt the bees much at all and move all those frames at one time, making enough room for me to put back the hive against the wall. Isn't that amazing? Tips like that you learn? Yeah, you should try that. Works really great. Now we're going to put this frame over here back in place, and we're going to check the bottom. When you're looking for swarm cells, don't just check, one particular box. Those swarm cells could be anywhere. I didn't see the queen. I wasn't looking for her terribly strong. Maybe you saw her. I might have missed her. But that's why I want to look down below, because she could be down there and they could be starting swarm cells in the bottom. Smoke some bees out of the way here as that frame slides down on its own. Very good. All right, let's separate the two boxes now, and let's check that bottom deep. Since the bees are behaving very calmly, and I still have these bees on the feeder board, the underside of it, I could bang this and make them fall in, but I'm working barehanded. A windy day, everything is possible in place for these bees to get easily defensive, so I don't want to bang bees around just yet if I don't have to. I'm just going to set that out of the way. The smoker fuel that I use burlap, and I put my last piece of burlap in this smoker. I didn't realize I was out, so I have ordered some more on Amazon. Every year I get batches and batches of burlap, food grade and everything, so I'll leave a link where you can get some. So let's just set this box on top of the feeder box there. Good. Yeah, you can see the leftover newspaper from last fall when I combined these hives. The bees will eat that away, and they got rid of most of it. And one little bee on the back side. Okay. We'll leave that in there. We won't go over there. So I think most of the bees were up in that upper deep. I don't think a lot of bees are down here, which means they're not in a swarm state. So we're going to skip going across to get here so that we can get here faster. We're going to take that one out right now. So let's smoke them out of the way a little bit there. This frame right here. Nothing is on that. So let me check to make sure. Okay, that's where they could go. David, why not reverse boxes? Because I could still have some cold nights and my bees are up in the top where the heat is up there. I don't want to change that. You might notice the screws you see on some of my hives. That was to help hold the insulation, the foam insulation I had on there. I just got to take a minute to take that off. Now let's smoke the bees out of our way so we can put our feeder board back on. I'll leave a link right here for that feeder board. As you can see here, great way to feed your bees. Some of you are, still needing to feed your bees because there's not a lot out there yet, and it helps them raise brood. Another reason you might want to feed your bees is if you're starting out like with a package or a new nucleus, then you want them to draw the foundation out. So you would want to feed them one-to-one sugar water like this, throw some additives in there if you want to, but this will help them metabolize the sugar water into wax. Bees actually make wax from their wax glands, and it takes about 6 to 8 pounds of them eating honey or sugar water to metabolize and make 1 pound of wax. So that helps them out a lot. I'm still putting a little bit of foam up here just like this, just to sit inside there on top of the jar. And that's only because I saw, even though it's warming up, we still have a few upcoming days where it's going to dip back almost to freezing. Not quite, almost. Okay, so here's the split that Patrick and I made last week. Let's just take the top off. Now, what I had to do last week, 2 days, I had to move it inside the building. And that's why I put it in a 9-frame box like this. I made a split and I kept it this way. I didn't put it in a 10-frame box here. I knew cold weather was coming up and I wanted to be able to easily pick this up and carry it better than a 10-frame box. And that's what I wound up doing. So I made an early split, way earlier than I would do it, but I did it for educational purposes to help you guys that maybe are further south than me. That's why I did it early last week. It's getting close enough for me to make a split, but not this week, but probably next week. We still got some temperatures coming up where it's going to be near freezing, but we want to look at this, make sure there's enough bees in there, that we didn't lose bees, that brood didn't die, because it was kind of cold a few nights, even when I didn't move them inside. Oh, look at that, good brood. There's our queen. You want to do the queen dance? It is so windy. So no brood died, and they have lots of bees. I don't want to hold them out in this wind too long. That's just a quick look. I gotta watch my queen all the way down now. Okay, there she is. She's good. She's in a safe place. So the bees are doing fine in there. This is a split, a way too early split, and that's why I had to baby them by bringing them inside. I talked all about swarm control, what to do, how to detect swarms, how to catch them, how to, detect signs of swarming and all. I want you to watch that video. It's right over here. See you over there, guys.